Hey guys, surprise, surprise. Hello, hello. Happy holidays well, they're kind of already here. So if I forget to say it, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Merry New Year, Happy Christmas, all the stuff that, people celebrate at this time. So I hope you guys are having a good one. I'm going to come on, well, I'm here today actually quickly to sort of introduce a very, very small, it's kind of like a slow stitching play box for beginner stitchers. And it's just kind of a de-stash of a lot of stuff I had left over and some stuff that, I've accumulated that I want to kind of get out there. And before I get started, I'm not going to go through, I haven't put it together as a collection. I've put these pieces together. These are like the little packs that have yo-yos, and I'm not going to open them up. Rick Rack, DMC, and appliques and lace and some buttons. During my last sale, I gave and sold a lot of, well, all of my button collection. So it was really interesting scrambling around trying to find buttons for these. I still have my collection, my button collection, but I was trying to find buttons to put in these packs to add buttons that add a little bit of color. So these just have the whole play box, slow stitching play box will have like 15, I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's got like maybe 20 pieces in it, but I think it'll be a nice little way for me to continue to free up room, given that I won't be doing much peddling and selling stuff because of, I'm in school and teaching. I have classes and I'm teaching. So there's that. And that one, I didn't put that one in like really cute. The buttons they're up here as opposed to down here. There's an empty space there. That's kind of annoying me, but whatever. So I have 10 different, and these are just random. So I'm just going to grab one and kind of just throw them in my Etsy shop. I'll just grab one and send it off with the pack. And these are de-stash packs, by the way, so they're de-stashes. Okay, anyway, so there's that. And before I get started, I'm going to go through this really, really, really efficiently, I think. I have to say thank you to the ladies who are holding. I have 3 journals on order, and the ladies know who they are, and thank you for holding them for me. And I appreciate that because I'm living off of a stipend now, so I can't like buy journals anymore, guys. It's really annoying. It's so annoying. I have to really, really budget and make every dime and penny count, living off of a stipend as opposed to my professor salary. It's just very, very rough for me in the sense that I can't buy everything that I want to buy. I haven't even looked to see what y'all are peddling or selling or what y'all are doing, and I miss you guys a lot. But I'm really, just in the midst of halfway through. I like to think moving into my second year. I'll be in my 3rd year of the doctoral program this time next year. So I'm ending my 2nd year of the program, so I still have a ways to go. But yeah, it's going. So I just can't shop like I used to. I have to really, really budget. So thank you to the 3 ladies who are holding journals for me. I really appreciate that. And my goal is to get them probably after, at the beginning or towards the end of January, probably, you know, sometime in January, maybe mid-January. And I appreciate y'all holding those for me. 2 ladies are holding them journals for me, and 1 is an order. So I'm just, yeah, I appreciate that. And it took everything in me to, I couldn't refrain from ordering a journal that I recently ordered. I'll just leave it like that. So anyway, so this is D-Stash. I think I'm calling these slow stitching play boxes. They have a host of quilts, you know, just, this is D-Stash stuff. So all of there's 10 of them, and they'll all come with quilting pieces. And the quilting pieces were unfinished, the ones that I have. So there's 10 of them. And these will be great for covers, or, you know, great to start a project. I would use these for cutting up purposes, cutting things up. And this quilt has batting in between, so you can kind of see it there. So it's got batting. You can even take that batting out and use that for another project or to stitch on. So these are gatherings to play around with, to cut things up. So everything's already cut up, so no one has to feel bad. Especially new stitchers, you don't have to feel bad about them being cut up or cutting things up. And I'm not measuring anything. This fabric is really pretty. I'm just, and I started these with the idea of having like a springtime kind of vibe, but changed my mind and just decided to go with just random colors and let newbies kind of get in there and get their hands dirty and just play and cut, chop up, sew, stitch, whatever they want to do. This particular quilt, I've shared some of that before. The person who was making it, she had drawn on some really pretty designs. It looked like it might have been a stencil that she was drawing on there. So you can probably practice your satin stitches in there. My Roxy, while I'm showing you guys these, my Roxy Journal of Creations piece is on hold, but I did manage to sew I tried to play for a second. I really don't have very much play time. And this was my heart's, and I just kind of picked it up one day to kind of, kind of take a moment and just stitch some stuff. And this was the heart prompt, and it'll go onto my quilt. But I jumped a bunch of prompts for this one, and it was because I had these little pieces left, and I just kind of franken-stitched around everywhere, and I meant for that to be wrinkled like that. So that's going to go on my quilt. It's not a quilt. Mine is, I don't know what it is. It's not going to be a bed throw or a quilting or a lap thing. It's going to be, maybe I'll hang it on the wall or something. Anyway. And then there's that one. So there's 10 pieces of these. And these are a lot of fun. You can actually cut these in half and make needle books out of them. You can make hooswifts or mobile traveling stations, sewing stations, like the one Carla made for me. I love this so much. I've been using that too when I can find a moment, but I haven't really found that many moments. Okay, so there's 10 of those. All right. And these are going to be mailed in, I'm thinking they'll be mailed efficiently in whatever saves the most money. But I'll probably mail them in, I'm thinking there's too much to go into the bubble, priority bubble packs. So I'm probably going to mail them maybe in the boxes again. And then you'll get each of the 10 will get some of this gorgeous fabric, and there are, and these are probably ready for like journal stitching books, so they've been cut already. So you just fold them out so they can fold right into even a journal cover or whatever it is you're thinking about making, needle book covers. So there's 10 pieces of those, really pretty floral. This looks like it's thick, but it's not. It, I think a pen would, oh, excuse me, a needle would go through these really easily. Sorry for my, yeah, see, that goes through really nicely. Very easily. Okay, so there's that. There's 10 of those. And then there's this piece. Those are folds. Anything that was folded that could fold into a needle book or a hood swift like this. I just put it in the folding area. And I also mix the colors and patterns because I want it, again, for new stitchers, slow stitchers, and new beginners to just play, and you don't have to feel like you're messing up anything. So there's some gingham, there's some yellow gingham that's folded, and then these are really pretty pieces here. This has already got a lining around it or an edging around it. Now I would practice sewing this. I think this is called a blanket stitch, maybe around here. You can kind of practice that. And for those of you who have never watched my channel, I'm not a, I don't do craft stuff, make things, you know. For the most part, I've always been a seller. That's what I still am, is mostly a seller. But I am playing around with stitching just because it's fun and I like it and I enjoy it. And it's homage to my matriarchs. But you'll have to watch videos on how to use this stuff. And I'll see if I can find some videos quickly to link up for newbies. And then this feels kind of felt-like, but this fabric was, I think it's discontinued, but it's like needlebook ready to be thrown into the folds of a needlebook. I think I had enough for 10 pieces of that. Every now and then there's something that there's only 8 or 9 pieces, but I think there's 10 pieces of that. That feels very felty-like. And then here's some extra pieces of this pretty fabric. And that's ready to go down into a needle book, and you can practice your stitching on those flowers. So that's pretty. And then these are just some extra pieces that will find their way into one or so of the packs. And I'll make sure all of them have some kind of extra. They'll all be different. Okay, some of them will be floral because I was thinking again about springtime, but at the same time I'm also thinking about just playing. And I think there's 10 pieces of this. This is really pretty. This is a cheaper fabric, but it's really pretty. I like the pattern on it. Purple and yellow flowers. Almost feels like a wallpaper kind of thing. Very thin, that one. And then here's some green, so we get into some colors here. There's plenty of that. So that kind of folds out pretty widely with little florals on it. So there's some of that. And these are all, again, pieces that fold. So you can put these in needle books and books and things like that. But there's the color scheme. It's all over the place, the color scheme is. So keep that in mind. And again, it's meant to destash and certainly to already chop things up for beginners so they can just play. And then the final part is block fabric. This is a very nice fabric, and there's 10 pieces of that. And it's just beautiful to stitch in. And so you can make all sorts of panels and things like that if you want to try your hand at, you know, sort of turning a panel into a collage, a slow stitching collage, or that kind of thing. So there's 10 pieces of that. So there are lots of options and lots of pretty fabrics to play with. So those are the folded pieces. And then there's also, where's that other quilt stack? Oh, here's another quilt stack. So we've got this one, it's folded, and that would be good for 2 needle books or 1 needle book and a tiny one. These are also good to make pouches with if you're thinking about that. This is a thicker one. That one's got batting in it. Here's a remnant here of a quilt. Here's another one. And I'm just going to randomly pick these guys. So there's no, can you please give me that one with the this one and the that one kind of thing. It's just, they're going to be listed in my Etsy shop, and that's where they'll be. But great pieces for, like I said, needle books or fabric books, or swifts, or whatever it is you're wanting to play around with and try your hand with. And I put pins in this one, and they go through. This is a little bit thicker, but they go through okay. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here is 9. And this kind of puts you in the mind of Carla Frizzell's Swift old quilting that she used for this. Really pretty patterns, motifs and patterns from an old quilt. So there's that. And that's got a real soft lining in it. What do you call it? Batting in it. And then these 3 pieces. So that's 9. And then these 3 pieces would be 10. So you can play around with small books. This is all 1. And then this piece, I love this piece here. That's really pretty. That's very soft, and it does have batting in there. But you can take the top layer off if you just want the pattern and play around with it. I love the edge on that. It's pretty. And this one gets an old beat up piece. Love these. These are so fun. And look at that inside of there. Really, really pretty. And there's that pattern on that one. So this one, number 10, gets all 3 of these pieces because it's not, you know, the longer pieces. So there's that. And I don't know how many pieces that is, but it's a lot, guys. Okay, and then you get the packs are going to come with, I'll show you the embroidery here in just a moment. You get some ticking. So there's just, and these are just, you know, small panels. I'm not measuring anything, so please don't ask me. This is de-stash, okay? De-stash, and I need to get rid of it, and, you know, really to make room for some other things I'm thinking of coming up as time permits. Ooh, I have to really say that. Now, this fabric here, let me show you this. Here's a piece here. This was a quilt. Somebody was making a quilt top. This fabric here, I made sure to save this, and I wrote it down. The lady was using, this is called Dreaming of Diamonds, the shape, and she was using template B, cut 23, rust cream, large floral. However, this fabric, guys, is a beautiful, it's called Martinique by 3 Sisters, Moda. And I looked this up, and that fabric is really expensive. It's pretty bougie fabric, actually. And I'm like, oh, okay. But anyway, I just, you know, I got a bag. I was fortunate enough to get a bag of someone making the quilt. So there's 2 of those. There's this pattern. There's that pattern. This one probably would get this. It has all the different 3 Sisters fabric motifs, pattern styles in there. So that, you know, I'm counting that as one. And then there's that one, this one. I kept some of this for myself. Remember, I don't peddle anything that I don't personally like or would use, to be honest. But so I kept a couple of pieces for myself, but I didn't keep whole panels like this. I made sure the packs would have that. And then this is also the Three Sisters, and this is folded, but I kept it together just so you can see that whole theme that this seamstress was going with. So there's only 2 of those. Okay. And then let's see, what is this? Okay. And then there's these pretty colors. There's 10 pieces of that. Guess I should put the ticking back on there. Well, leave that for last. 10 pieces of that. And then there's some pretty florals, pinks and blues and creams. And the ticking, I love this. Ooh, I love this. It's like seersucker ticking. I think I sold some of that, or I gifted some of that. I think I put that, somebody bought some tea towels for me, and I added that to there as a thank you. And then these are just little individual slithers of pieces. So there's that pattern and that pattern. This is really old, this one here. And then there's a few of these. So the packs will get just little remnants, you know what I mean? Like little remnants. There's some more yellow. That's a slither of the yellow gingham. And then these gingham pieces, because again, I was thinking about springtime, but it's just very, very comprehensive kind of style, you know, so it's kind of like all the stuff, colors, in terms of colors and themes. So there's some gingham green, some gingham yellow, and some purple and some pink. So those will go in the packs and then in the fun boxes. And then oh, I put some scraps of, and then I'll get to the embroidery here. I just put some scraps, leftover pieces to chop off. All of this is, again, that Three Sisters. So there's just little scrap pieces that you might want to use if you're doing quilting collages or tabs and things like that. So there'll be some of that in there too. And then here are some pieces from the quilt that the lady was making. I mean, I don't know where this pattern comes from. I'm not sure. I guess it's a typical pattern. Seamstresses and quilters will know. But anyway, that's the pattern that she was using. I think it's some portion of it, because that looks very different, that shape. But that was in the bag of the fabrics that I got. So I put a lot of that in there. And I think the packs will get 3 of these. I think there's 30 pieces, but look at this one. I don't know the ones I kept for myself. Let me show you what I kept for me. I kept definite, oh, here we go. I kept, oh, the sunflower, whoops. I kept the sunflower, of course, a piece of that. And then these were the pieces that I kept. I really love this one. I think that's so pretty. And I'll add that to my Roxy creation. I got all the prompts down. I just have to work on that when I can. I just really have no time at all to play. I just don't. And that's not a complaint. Oh, and I kept this one too, because I did want some polka dot in there a little bit. And that one, she had sewn, this one came out kind of wonky, crooked, and she accidentally sewed it together. I just ripped it apart. So anyway, that, I just kept those. I usually keep the messed up pieces for me. So you'll get some of that with some scraps from that. And then the packs also will come with these bags. So there's a lot of, let's see, I think I only have 9 of these. So there's 1, 2, 3. These are really nice linen bags or hemp bags. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I was going to keep one for myself, but I'm putting it in there. So there's 10 of those. And those are fun to stitch on. Those are really fun to stitch on, and they're fun for a needle for the mobile traveling stitching station, but also for needle books as well. So I put those in there because those are fun. And then let's see, I put some trim and some doilies. Here are some, let's see, they'll all get a piece of this to play with. These pretty doilies. There's one pattern that I have. I just cut those in half to share because this is about scrappy stuff. And for me, it's destashing, and it's left over from the big sale that I had. Really, I sold everything for the most part, but these are just scrappy pieces. And so you'll get some appliques and things like that, a piece of that in there. There's some yellow eyelet that's really fun. I've had that forever, this eyelet. So pretty. And then here's just some pieces. I didn't color those. Excuse me, this tablecloth was actually like that. I've never seen a tablecloth colored like that, unless they did it themselves. I'm not sure. But anyway, there'll be pieces of that in there so you can play around with, you know, with flowers and florals and things and stuff. And then I put in some lacy trims or hand stitched, and this is real good hardcore linen. Some of the pieces may have like, you know, spots and stains on them because they are previously loved and used. So just kind of be aware of that, but they're still, that's what makes them so much fun. And so great to use because they all come with a story. So this one has some edges, pink edges on it, this pile. And that's all hand done. This is beautiful linen, cotton. I think that's cotton. These are blue. I don't know how many pieces. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. These have these gorgeous, oh, there's more than that. Okay. So this one I have maybe 10. I'm not sure, but you'll definitely get trim in there. So this one is really pretty because it has this blue. This was a pillowcase. There were 2 of them, and it's beautiful old pillowcases. And I just ripped them apart beautifully and with love so that they can live somewhere else. But they've got beautiful blue tatting trim across it. And I tried to leave them long enough to where you still have stitching real estate on them because these are old cotton pillows. Okay, so the trim on there is hand done, and it's just beautiful stitching fabric. So there's several of those, and that's tatting. And then there's some of this in there, so I'll spread that around as far as it'll go, and then I'll put something else in there that may not make it. This also was excuse me, this also was an old pillowcase as well. Okay, so I had to put some stuff in there where you guys had trims. I'll spread it out. And then to get to the let's see. Let's do the, what else was I got? I think that, okay, so I have some more stuff. So I put in these pillowcase pieces. So this is hand stitch, and it's got some love right there. So that's really pretty. And I think that one opens up. So you have a lot of stitching room. Especially with fabric like this. This is that good old fabric to stitch with because it's old, it's vintage, and it's what the ladies did. So this, and it's all hand stitched, hand embroidered. I was going to show you guys the whole pile of everything before I started cutting it up, but I just got right to it. And most of you who have, you know, shop with me know I don't mess around. I get the really good old, the hand stitch stuff. So all of that's hand stitched. So you get, you know, one of those. And there's one there. And what I tried to do was leave some of the pillowcase in there so that it's so pretty. That's all hand done. Leave the pillowcase in there so that you can use that cotton, that old cotton. And then this one, those look like some kind of berries or something. This one, there's another one of those. And then these, excuse me, there's that there, and that's real pretty. I love that purple flower. Love the cross stitch. And then the edging on this one is really nice. It's crocheted. And there's the back so you can see all the work that someone has done. They've tied things off and had knots. When I was cutting was something I was cutting apart. Oh my gosh, in a very good way. They had embroidered it so well. It's like, dang. The strings to cut it was, you know, they didn't want to come apart. And so here's another one of those. That one's got some love on it right there. Purple. You got some little red flowers you can cut out, chop those out, cut that one out, and play, collage, collage. There's that one, and these are pretty big pieces. If it wasn't a corner, it's a middle, but I think these were four corners, I think, something like that. But anyway, I'll distribute them out nicely. So, and then these are the ones that were like, when I cut them up, she had really stitched these so well. Like so well together. I was like, dang, because, you know, when I was cutting it, it was still hanging together. So there's some red with some green and pink flowers on them. And that's all red. So you get a nice little good deal of stitching flowers. And again, I love these because if you can see what Carla has used here, these are the little French knots. You can still see how to use them. Okay, they just make really cute little embellishments. So there's reds. Here's some more purple, and there's quite a good deal of them here. I'm not sure what this design was, but this was a really nice table thingy, and I kept on one of them. Let's see, where is it? I kept oh, here it is. I kept the inside of those guys because they're just the fabric. This fabric is so old, but it's such good stitching fabric. So I kept the inside of those. Now you do get some linen in here. I didn't have enough of this to spread it around for all the kids, but I kept it. It's just such beautiful fabric, old fabric, linen fabric. So I kept those because I'll definitely stitch on those. So there's that. Okay, and then you can kind of see how some of the pieces are, you know, they're corner pieces. They might have a little bit more flowers, but it'll all work out. So there's no picking and choosing. It's just, it is what it is. This is a D stash, honey. I got some, I'll show you some more embroidery here. There's a few linen pieces in here of hankies, and I think I sold in my sale and added hankies into everything. These are really crisp. This is like top notch quality linen. But I didn't have enough to put, so some of them will have, you know, a hanky in there, and where there's not a hanky, I'll make up for it. These are all white. I think I was intending to do something else with these. You'll get like a nice old cotton with some little batten bird embellishments on it. So those will go in there too. And then I have these smaller pieces here. So they're pieces like this. These are turn stitch, and I know a lot of ladies, I got some more I'm going to show you here in just a second. I know a lot of ladies love using those in their projects. But these just have like maybe one little embellishment on them, and there are enough to go in each of the packs. So there's a larger one there. It's pink. Another one of those. Another one. And these are hand done, because y'all know I don't play. All hand done, hand stitched. And they're turn, what do you call that stitch? Turn stitch. Remember, I was struggling with that with my letters of my name, when I was doing my first Roxy project. Oh Lord, turn stitches, like, oh no, I think I'm gonna have to wait for that, practice some more. Anyway, so there are those, and then there should be plenty for everyone, but there's also these, and these are linen table towels. These are really pretty. I left them complete. I didn't cut these up, so, and there's only 2 of them. And they're kind of a salmon color kind of thing. So those are in there. There's only 2. And then this white hand stitch flower. And again, I know I keep showing Carla's the hood swift, because these are just fun to use in any stitching project. Needle books, whatever. They're just fun. So these only have, this pile only has like 1 something on it. And this one has a little stain on it there. A lot of these fabrics, obviously, they're vintage, hand stitched, linen. This is linen here that we're working with. It's got some love there. And you can always stitch over that, especially if you're doing the collages and stuff. And then here's some other little embellishments that has just 1 little flower on it. Oh, wrong side, sorry. There we go. Anything that's hand stitched, I just, you know, harvest it and save it. And there's another one. I kept one of these for myself. That was the center of something, and there wasn't enough to go around. This came from one of the, I don't know, came from one of the somethings over there. And then there's that one. And this one I don't think is hand stitched. Let me see. Is it? Or maybe it was. I don't think this one is hand stitched. I'll make sure that whatever pack I put this in, you'll definitely get one of those pink ones in there. And then, so there's that pile. Okay, and then, let me see, I might have to turn the light on in here. Is that too bright? Kind of. Let's see, I can use my mama's light. This is in her kitchen. There we go. Maybe that might be better. Okay, so, and then you get, I'll save those for last. You get in there, I don't know how many pieces it is, guys. I don't know. I really don't. I haven't really counted, but anyway. These were pillowcases too. There's some love there. And I left these where you could use, I'm telling you, this linen. This is linen. And look at that beautiful hand stitching. Look at all those knots. Ooh, mine looks worse than that. And that's not worse. I don't mean that. That's not worse. What I mean is, you know what I mean. I need to be quiet. I don't want to. Okay, and then look at that. Isn't that pretty? This is really good linen too. Beautiful linen. So I left it. There were two appliques on each pillowcase. So I just cut them and divided them into two. So there's, I think there's 4 of those. There's 4 of those. There's one, and there's one. And where there are only 4 of those, you'll get one of these here. And these are really cute. Look at those. There's some love. And look at that. Isn't that cute? The little knots and stuff. And this one, these kind of, I think I have 4 of these. So these are, oh my God, how do I get that open? I didn't cut these. These aren't cut, they're whole. Okay, there we go. So that's what that looks like. And then there's the back of them so you can see her little knots and her little threads. All the time that goes into stitching. I love hand stitching. Okay, there's that. There's 4 of those. There's some love on that one. And then these, I had some of these in my really big boxes that I sold. These I found just out and about fairly recently. So it's not like I was, all of this, I wasn't like holding it back. Some of it I was because there wasn't enough of it to put, like spread it out. So, but I found some other pieces too. That's a pillowcase. So there's that one and that one. And this one had a lot of love stains on it, but I just wanted to preserve this hand stitching and this linen, even with these spots. I mean, look at that. Look at all the work that went into that. Her knots as well. Just so much beautiful, beautiful work. And these flowers are just begging to be loved again. And look at the pretty lace across there. So you can cut that off and use that somewhere else. But it does come with a lot of spots, this piece. So there's plenty of that. I think those will be pretty for Christmas maybe. Even though Christmas is in a hot minute. It's just down the road. So there were 2 of these and they had a lot of flowers. So you'll get some of those. Lots of love there. You can stitch over that or welcome the story behind it. Make up your own story behind it. But it comes with a story. So there's that pile. And then, let's see. I'm keeping these all in separate piles because I want to make sure I do like an assembly line and pick up one for every box. So here we get into these pretty blues. And these are just gorgeous. These are, again, that turn stitch. This is all hand stitched. And I'll show you in a minute an entire tablecloth that I got these from. I was fortunate enough to get 2 of them. So this is kind of what they look like. They've got a scallop like edge. They're hand stitched. You can see the knots and stuff where it's tied off by the seamstress. Look at that work. And I had 2 big tablecloths of this. So I'll show you the one, and that one will be up for sale as well. So there's that. There's that one. And this one was interesting. I think the seamstress must have gathered, I don't know if, you know, and I'm not turning comments on, but maybe somebody can explain to somebody else. I don't know, you know, friends of friends who watch the video, why that is. I have no idea why that is. It looks like she was mending it. I don't know, but she turn stitched it that's turn stitch, and I don't know if she was mending it or what, but it's really cool. Very, very cool stuff. Okay, so there's that one. That's going right down the middle. And there's that one, that one, that one, that one. It's so fun to look at the backs of these. This orange is a little bit orangier than the center of this one, if you can see that. That one has the mending or connecting piece together, but this is all hand done. All of that turn stitched. So crazy, crazy cool. So there's plenty of those for everybody to get. And then with those, in the same cloth were these larger ones, and so I just cut them out as they are, and you know, just kind of sort of, you know, put them out there like that, so everybody will get one of those if you're interested. And then I have, what do I have left? Oh, I have feature pieces left, and I'll show you those. So there's that. Some of them are bigger and brighter. I don't know if it's bigger, but you can see the difference in the blues there. This looks a little bit lighter than that one, but, and then these have, and I can always harvest. I don't know if I think I could harvest in the first cloth some of those, and then they come, some of them will come like this with this pretty doily in the center and the flower. So this is like a 3-for-1. She's mended that down the center. I guess that's mending, I don't know, but it's connected there. I think she must have connected 2 tablecloths together, kind of like, you know, kind of like we're doing with the collage stuff. So there's that, and then this crocheted, and then there's a little flower there, so you get this piece here, and that piece there, which is really fun. And this one, that one, and that one. And then finally you get in this Playbox, slow stitching Playbox, you get some feature pieces here, and these are just larger pieces of the blue. So for example, you get a corner of that whole piece there, and it's just beautiful crochet, all hand done. And another one of the applique turn stitched applique flowers. So there's that one, that one. And if you don't get one of those, you get this piece here, which is a beautiful basket, all hand stitched as well. And it comes also with a pretty crochet edge. You can see that. I love looking at all these knots, and I say that and I'm being repetitive, but it's just fun to see how the backs of things, I think the backs of these are just beautiful art pieces too. Just really fun to look at and see where things were cut off and all these threads hanging. Really fun. And that's a corner, yeah, so it's kind of like, and when I say use the term feature piece, I'm talking about it's a bigger piece. It's, you know, complete, and it could be a feature of the front of a cover, or you can really take all of these little flowers and cut those out and leave that basket for something else. So there's another one there, and another one, and another one. And then this one is really beautiful linen. Whoo, so pretty, this linen. So the good stuff linen, guys. It has a basket here, and it's been loved on a lot. So there's that pretty orange. And it looks like some of the flowers, she made them so light lime green that you can barely see it. When I first looked at it, I thought the stitches were coming out of it, but it's not. And then there's this pretty edging on that linen. Look at that in the holes. This is good stitching stuff here. And there's some love spots, some storytelling spots. So there's that. And that is the pack. There's another one. Oh, and here's this one. That's a basket too. That's crocheted with these pretty daisies, these pretty little flowers you can cut out. There's some French knots right there, and she's done some, you know, double crochet. I made my baby a blanket like in the same colors, more yellow, when she was born, just like this. I still have that. So pretty, in the same kind of crochet pattern. Okay, so that's that, guys. By the time the video goes up, I will have these packaged. They're gonna go, I'm thinking they're gonna go the cheapest way I could send them, to be honest. But I'm thinking just to put them in small, I think I'm gonna put them in the small priority boxes, the small ones. Okay, so that's how they're gonna go. And I'm sorry, I'm so sorry I have to charge you guys for priority boxes, but stuff's expensive. Everything's like so dang high. Let me grab something and clean this up. Hang on just a second. Okay, this is what I've got for sale, separate from those that will go up in my Etsy shop. I've got this beautiful linen piece, and somebody on Etsy sold this for like $36. But it's a vintage Michele, what is it called? Michele Floyd Ulster Weavers tea towel. And I'm just going to put it in my Etsy shop. They sold theirs for $36. I'm not selling that for that much, but just so you know, that is going to my shop. Now, why am I showing this? Because I think these rabbits are really cute to be cut out and harvested and go on to quilting pieces. So there's that. That's going into my Etsy shop. I was going to chop it up because I was thinking about spring. And I might put some rabbits in these as a thank you from the Beatrix Potter sheet that I had, because I took it off my Etsy shop. It just wasn't getting very much interest, so I might chop that up and just put that in as thank you packs. And then I have these two pieces that are going in my Etsy shop, and these are gorgeous. Oh my goodness, these are so pretty. They were together, but I chopped them down the middle. I didn't keep any of the middle part of this, but it's a beautiful little cottage that's hand stitched, hand embroidered, with some trees and a birdhouse, some flowers here, a little gate trellis looking thing. But I love the little stairs in the cottage, and little colored flowers. So that might be pretty if you're doing projects, stitchery projects. I think that would be really pretty. And it's on this beautiful hemp kind of fabric, or maybe that's linen, I'm not sure, but it feels really soft and really good. And there's two of those, so if you're interested in those, let me know. And if you're interested, actually, before, when I put the video up, I'll wait and see if anybody emails me if they're interested. And sometimes it's cheaper just to sell it to you guys on via PayPal. But I'm not going to wait too long, because I'll just start popping it into my Etsy shop. So, you know, I'll give it a hot minute or two, a day or so, or whatever. Something like that. It'll be in my Etsy shop regardless, and I can always take it down. This birdhouse wasn't finished over here. So this was unfinished, and so were these flowers. And so was this flower. She had drawn in here, and maybe I might put these together because this is not finished. There's her little window drawn right there. And then her tree is completed, but you can see she put the windows in white, which I would have done them differently so that you could actually see them better, but they would stand out better. I would have used a different color for the windows, but I'm a newbie stitcher, so I need to shut up, right? So there's 2 panels there. Those will go together. So that's going to go. And these I did not chop up and put these in my in the play boxes, stitching play boxes, because these are supposed to be hand stitched. And look at the cute little birdies. It's a his and hers. You can take that out and use the letters for something else. But the tatting is just gorgeous. Look at the tatting on that. So there's the tatting there. So pretty. And then it's a his and hers sheet. And the cute little birds are just adorable. They're already kind of drawn in. And you can kind of follow the color pattern of what is on here. There's his, there's hers, and there's his. And the tatting, you could just take this tatting off and use that for something. It's just so pretty. Yeah, I couldn't, that tatting, nope. those full blown things I told y'all that, I'm just like, oh no, that's a lot of work. I'm just like, I'm not touching that. So anyway, those will be in my Etsy store. And last but not least, oh, there's one other thing. This is a gorgeous, if anybody is interested in this, is really, really thick. There's the title, Portfolio Textiles, Teflon Up. I don't know anything about that, but this is gorgeous, beautiful textile fabric. So that, that would be pretty for, like, I think for journal covers. It's just really beautiful. I don't have the measurements for it, but I don't have my measurement thing in here with me, so sorry for all the sighing. I'm really tired. Guys, it's been a long semester. But anyway, there's that. And it's a pretty, really smoky blue, like a gray blue, with these gorgeous flowers that you can stitch and satin stitch in. And I think on this side, it's the same. Is that the same? Yeah, it is the same. That's a really big piece. Let me go grab my thingy. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. I'll just give you a rough guesstimate here. 29. So 29 times 2. And then the width is... Ooh, I'm knocking over stuff. Let's see. 23 times 2. And let me just jot that down. I got my Rosemary Morris pen. Woohoo! 29 times 2 and 23 times 2. Okay, so there's that. All right, and then the last thing, and then I'm going to say goodbye while I'm showing you this. It's a complete tablecloth of the blue turn stitching. It's complete, but it's got some love on it, but not just a general love. And I'm going to pop that in my Etsy store too, unless somebody wants it. I think what I'm going to do is wait to hear from you guys and then pop it in my Etsy store, because it'll take me a minute anyway to take pictures of all this stuff. But here is the center of the blue. It's got a ton of these appliques on it, just a lot. There's a bunch. I wish I could show you the whole thing, but I just don't feel like, I don't have room to spread it out on my floor. but it's a lot. I think there's like, I forgot how many of these I counted, but it'll be in the listing when I put it in Etsy, in my Etsy store. But it's got the corners, it's got, you know, lots of the flowers and the little ones here, single ones here, and there are the pretty corners. I was fortunate enough to get 2 of these. I couldn't believe it. So there's that corner and there's that one, and those 2, and then it's just got, let me see, hang on, trying to find, I still have the center of the other one, by the way. Yeah, it's got a lot, guys. It's got, let me see, it's a lot. That's all I can say. Here's the center of it right there, if you can see it, what I was just showing you. So it goes all the way around. So this is for sale if anybody wants it, and it's it's pretty good shape. Doesn't have too much love stains on it, love stains, story stains on it, but it's in pretty good shape. So yeah, so anyway, I will say goodbye. I'm already an hour, Lord have mercy, and I really, yeah, was just trying to get this out for you guys, and get some more stuff out of my way. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys have a good Christmas, a good New Year, all of that stuff. I won't be back doing any more videos. This was the only one I wanted to do. I have a lot of work to do over the break. So yeah, this was just kind of like a de-stashing kind of thing. I wanted to come on and do for you guys and kind of peddle a little bit. And hopefully you'll take me up. The Playboxes will come in the smallest priority box, and I will have to charge you for the shipping. I've gotten to a point now where I can't be as giving as I usually am or have been my whole entire tenure of being a seller on YouTube and Etsy, because things are just really tight for me. So I can't afford to not charge you for the shipping, and I hate that. It makes me mad, actually, but what can you do, right? So anyway, all right, guys, I hope you have a very good holiday and a good New Year. Feel free to email me at gtdesigns@etsy@gmail.com. I will have the email in the box below. So if you're interested in any of these goodies, just hit me up and we'll do a PayPal payout that way. Okay? All right, guys. Bye.